Welcome back, guys, to In Vivo Strength Conditioning channel. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. I'm gonna put out a lot of dope content that you guys are gonna like, especially starting with this one today. Today we're gonna be talking about the floor press and exercises I like to do to get better at benching. So I want you guys to just pay attention to the setup that I have here. I have a bar and I have dumbbells. Now, when you think about the chest press, you're thinking about not just getting stronger, but you're also trying to develop those pec muscles. Now, one of the things that I often see, and I have to tell people, I'm like, you gotta be patient. You gotta be really patient, because if you haven't fixed the one thing that you need to fix is your posture, when you go into bench press, and you're gonna have not the results that you want, that you could be having later on. So for example, let's say you don't have the right posture and now you're benching all tight. Where is those gains going to? You're just like this, you're tight. You're not allowing yourself to retract and have the range of motion that you should be having to have better gains. And on top of that, it's just an illusion, guys. If I come here and I'm just rounded forward, I'm not letting myself be upright and show a lot more that I could be having when it comes to the chest press. So look, I'm gonna go into a floor press. So when I go into the floor press, is very untraditional, unlike your bench press. There's gonna be many reasons why I like floor pressing and why it's safer compared to regular bench pressing. And one of the reasons why is because when you go down, you're stopping the full motion of shoulder extension. So the shoulder doesn't go all the way back. So what ends up happening is when I come here and I set myself up, here we go, I set myself up. I like to come here and squeeze my shoulders back. Boom, I push away. All right, now, guys, look at the contact that I have with the floor and with the bar. So 1, 2 with my hands, and then 1, 2 with my feet. Now I'm gonna drive my hips up as I press. Okay, so it's a hip thrust, and at the same time is a bench press. So I'm gonna go down, right? I'm right here. I'm making sure my elbows are not all the way out. I'm a little tucked in, so my degrees of adduction to my shoulders a little bit down. I'm gonna come up, and I'm gonna press as I come up. So I'm gonna go here, boom. Come right back down, and I'm up, boom, press. Okay, as I come up, I'm pressing. Now, what I want you to pay attention to is when I'm doing this, I'm allowing my hips to extend and lock out at the very top. And I explain to you why now as I'm doing this. So, boom, okay, boom. You guys hear that? That's what I'm looking for. Now, when I'm doing this, okay, when I'm locking out and I'm pressing out, there's a reason why we do that. Because typically we go into a bench, okay, and we lay down and we go like this, we're pressing, and I see everybody doing this. Struggling, and they lift their feet up, or they start struggling and they go right here, or they're struggling and they start going this crazy stuff with their lower body. Why are you doing that? There's no reason for you to do that when you're engaging your glutes to help you, support you coming up. So, boom, boom, I'm pressing from the floor. Boom, pressing from the floor. Boom, okay? This is a technique used by not just bodybuilders, weightlifters, or anybody doing powerlifting, but primarily powerlifting, but it works so well because you're engaging everything. The chest press isn't just the chest press, because you're using everything. So I just want you to be cautious of these little details that go such a long way. Now, we did this, and we're gonna move on from this, and we're gonna go into the dumbbells. Now the dumbbells, you're gonna come here, you're gonna lay back, okay? Now, what did we talk about? Pressing at the top, right? Boom. Now, instead of bringing it down every time, which is a sequence you can practice, we're gonna come here, we're gonna keep our hips up, and we're gonna press, bam. Now, I like this position right here. I like it a lot. Why? Because it's safe. It's safe on my shoulders. When I go down, I'm not slamming my elbows. I'm just nice and tight, focus on squeezing my core, tucking my hips up so my hips are up to the ceiling, and I'm pressing just like this. Boom, okay? Now that's one way of doing that. As you progress and you want to use a lot more lower body, this is how you incorporate it. Now let's get creative. Let's go. The same leg pressing is the same leg up, and the other leg is having to maintain itself up. So you're gonna come here, you can either extend your knee or bend your knee to whatever your comfort. Boom, pressing. Boom, pressing. What I don't want is for you to get tired and you shift your hips. I don't want this. Or, no, keep your hips up, press, drive through the floor. It's as if your upper body here is in motion and your lower body is having to stay still. So, good. Now we do those. I like those. Let's do it both sides so you guys can see it from this angle. Those are my favorite ones to practice. Now, let's start getting a little bit funky with this, okay? Now you can come here and you can keep one leg up as you press both. Switch. Now, you do all of this. You do all of the floor press. What happens when you go lay down on a bench and you have weights now? It feels that much more natural. Come here. I'm locked in. My hips feel that much more easier to be in position because I've always already practicing it. You get me? So it's an easy transition. Now guys, here at the gym, it gets hot, so this sweat right here, this is not fake stuff. This is real deal, Holyfield stuff. So if you train at In Vivo, you know you sweat. Okay, stop playing around with the AC. Although eventually I'll be in the AC. Okay, so, hey, these are some of my favorite techniques. If you're trying to get better at your bench, this is something I highly recommend. Get onto the floor, humble yourself, get onto the floor, be able to practice little techniques are gonna go such a long way because, hey, when you're on the floor, there's nowhere to go, there's no rotation. You're here, you're stiff, and you're working on technique. And that's all you ever want to do because if you work on technique, then whatever you do on the bench, you'll be that much better. Now, questions you might have, which is when you go down, am I training my chest how I'm supposed to be training it? Is it not as effective because you're not going through the full range of motion? Those are good questions. Yes, you are training your chest, but what you're doing is you're working an angle of the press. So that means you're working here to here. Now, you training a little bit lower, you can also do that with dumbbells going through the full range of motion on the bench. But for now, this allows you to be proficient at locking out, at the locking out phases of the bench. So, boom. Boom, which is usually where people like to struggle at once they start getting into higher reps or doing heavier weight. They can't lock out, they start going like this, they start shifting one side to the other, they start moving their hips. This teaches you how to stabilize, use your lower body for upper body gains. Okay, so guys, you guys haven't subscribed yet? Subscribe, please. Let's get these videos up. I want you guys to know a little something, so if you like this video, let me know. Share, comment, share it, post it. Peace.